Drew McIntyre and Goldberg come face-to-face for the final time before their big title match at the Royal Rumble. Riddle earns a United States Championship opportunity against Bobby Lashley, and Randy Orton delivers an RKO to Alexa Bliss. Let's get it all started right now.
Welcome to the WWE Podcast, the most passionate and authentic wrestling analysis on the web. We've got you covered with every Raw, SmackDown, and NXT show, giving you a no bullshit opinion. We know you love wrestling. We do too. So let's get this show underway.
And that's the bottom line. What? 'Cause Stone Cold said so.
Hey guys, welcome to the WWE Podcast. It's time to talk Monday Night Raw. The final Monday Night Raw before the Royal Rumble this Sunday night. And there's a lot of news coming out right now, guys. And it's not just from Raw, but some other things that I'll get into, including a possibility of John Cena at 3 more WrestleManias and in matches, Brock Lesnar's apparent leaked, rumored WrestleMania opponent, and much more. But I just want to remind you guys, with the Royal Rumble this coming weekend, we have so much to cover in terms of podcasting and you guys getting to listen to our show, get ready for the Royal Rumble. And here's what the schedule is going to look like from now through Sunday night. Is that tonight, obviously, is the Raw review, but tomorrow is our dual show where we have Wrestling Nostalgia, and then a separate show of the Mailbag. I believe we're on episode 10 of the Mailbag. So that'll be coming to you tomorrow night. And then Thursday is the NXT review. Friday is Rivalries with Anthony DeMarco. Saturday will be the highs and lows of the week with Mimi Burris. And then later Saturday night, we'll be doing of course, a preview and prediction show for the Royal Rumble with a co-host. So that's going to be Saturday night with, I believe Michael Gross will be joining me for the preview and prediction of the Rumble. And then Sunday night, not only can you tweet with me during the Royal Rumble and follow me on Instagram, but I will be doing a post-show, as I always do with every pay-per-view, with the Botch Guy. So you guys have heard him before on this show. He's one of the favorites, and I don't think that this will be any exception. Always high energy, and I'm going to need it at that hour when I do a recording of the show that happens, afterwards, which, we don't get talking until 11:30, so it's a late night for me, but it's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. The Botch Guy is one of my favorites on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, you're like, wait, who's the Botch Guy? Just look him up on YouTube. You'll quickly become a fan, and I guarantee you'll subscribe. So head on over to YouTube, of course, and subscribe to him there. But he'll be joining me Sunday night right here on the WWE Podcast to discuss all the fallout from the Royal Rumble, and boy, do I feel like there's going to be a ton to talk about. I'm very excited about this Sunday's Royal Rumble, and of course, we're going to get into that in just a minute. But if you guys also didn't hear my show yesterday, talking to Quick Hits regarding the WWE selling the WWE Network to NBC Universal, who owns Peacock, I covered that in somewhat of depth and really try to put a positive spin on it for viewers, for WWE stockholders, stakeholders, everybody involved. I really am big on and a big proponent of that deal that WWE made with Peacock / NBC Universal. So check that out from yesterday. And also head to the website, WWEpodcast.com. If you'd like to support the show and you'd love to shop on Amazon, well, easy way to do it. Go to WWEpodcast.com and then click on the little banner that's right in the middle of the website on the homepage where it says, if you'd like Amazon, you want to support the show, click here. All it is a redirect link right to Amazon. It just tells Amazon that we sent you, and the show gets a kickback from whatever you buy. Okay, there's nothing added, nothing hidden fees, none of that. It's just an affiliate program is all it is. So easy way to help out the show if you shop on Amazon like I do. So alrighty, well, let's talk about not just Raw. Let's get into some of the kind of weird stuff going on here. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because I don't like to name sources without actually, or take sources' information without giving that source credit, is what I was trying to say. So here's what I'm going to be giving credit to. And this is a website called WrestlingEdge.com. Okay, so I'm not hiding secrets or pretending that other websites don't exist. Of course they do. So here's the report. And again, guys, if you don't want spoilers, if you don't want any potential rumors, you might want to just skip through the next few minutes and wait till we get to our Raw review. But I want to talk about this off the bat here. So here we go. I've given you a warning. Okay, you're still here. All right, so here is apparently Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania opponent rumor. Now, first of all, Brock Lesnar's not even under contract in WWE from what I understand. It seems to be a very, like a gentleman's agreement, handshake agreement. Brock Lesnar is enjoying himself on the farm or whatever he's doing. So here it is. Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens was recently rumored for WrestleMania 37, according to some dirt sheet websites. I'm quoting right now. Dave Meltzer shot down reports that this match is set to take place, along with a couple of other matches. So Dandaman posted, seen these in a few places. Let's see how many of them become remotely true. So here's some from rumored matches that Dave Meltzer all shot down. So if you've heard these, apparently they've all been shot down by the god of Dave Meltzer. I say that in very air quotes and very sarcastically. Roman Reigns and Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar, and Big E versus Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. Meltzer says these are all false as of Saturday. So last Saturday. I don't know what Brock Lesnar would want to do. I don't know if I even want Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania at this point. It would certainly be a big payday for him, but let me know what you guys think. So there's lots of rumors floating around. It seems the strongest one, although the one that has still been shot down, is Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. So take that for what it's worth, even if he's there at all. He may not be there at all. I mean, it's very possible too. Another news, John Cena, also according to WrestlingEdge.com, agrees to 3 big WWE matches. Now, I honestly, I have problems with this, but okay. So let me quote this, and I promise, guys, we're getting to the Raw review. So much to talk about. But John Cena is getting back in the ring. On the latest episode of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Show on RussosBrand.com, the host and former WWE writer discussed how John Cena has apparently agreed to work the next 3 years worth of WrestleMania events. A big name just challenged John Cena to a WrestleMania match. So, do I think John Cena is going to be here for the next 3 years of a WrestleMania? Maybe. I don't see his opponents anywhere listed here. And take, Vince Russo with a grain of salt. I've seen him, kind of waffle back and forth at times, and his sources aren't always up to snuff. So, again, those are rumors right now floating out there. I don't know whether they will be, they have any validity to them. We got to all be very careful of the wrestling dirt sheets out there. And, as I continue here, this is just absurd. I mean, the rumors are floating all over the place here, guys. I'm going to continue with these rumors with The Rock here. And The Rock is reportedly locked in for the next WWE match. This is also according to RussosBrand.com. So here's what it is. Vince Russo believes that The Rock will be headlining WrestleMania 39, which is going to take place in LA at SoFi Stadium. I don't know about that, right? Like, how can you possibly book something 2 years out? There's too many unknowns. There's too many unknowns. But what I will say is that The Rock has revealed to CNBC that in essence, this is what The Rock said, in essence, it's meditating, but it's really just quiet time regarding meditation, and just having a moment where I realized just shut my brain off. And he said, my gym time, and this sounds crazy because the music is so loud, because it's sweaty, it's intense, but I'm alone. It becomes a meditative process for me. So again, he didn't really talk about his wrestling match with CNBC, if a possibility of a return is even in the cards. But guys, reading all through this and giving you the rumors, man, you talk about Brock Lesnar, you talk about The Rock, you talk about John Cena with the upcoming WrestleMania season. Does anybody want to see any of them really at this point? I mean, when it comes to ability in the ring, all 3 of them are certainly still able to go. I don't think that anybody would question Brock Lesnar's ability to get in shape, or probably still is in shape. John Cena with his in-ring ability, which, hasn't exactly been the most chain wrestling impressive style in WWE history, but he's always been a good storyteller in the ring, and super, super, super strong. I don't doubt John Cena able to get back into ring shape if need be. And of course, The Rock is just habitually in ring shape, it seems like. So I have no problem with them getting back in the ring from a safety standpoint even. But I mean, are you guys even interested in this? Would you even want to see regarding these rumors of John Cena over the next 3 WrestleManias, and The Rock apparently has his next match set, which I don't know if I buy. Russo, here's what I think is happening. Almost all of that, what I just told you, came from Vince Russo. Now look, I have nothing personal against Vince Russo. None at all. I have nothing bad to say about the guy at all. But what I will say is, maybe this is just clickbait for him. Trying to stir up some news because everyone knows, or most people know, that he was a writer during the Attitude Era. He went to other promotions and wasn't as successful. People know Vince Russo's name. So he probably knows that when he says something that it gets reverberated more than it would the normal average fan podcast or somebody that may not be well known as himself. And he knows that maybe it's driving traffic to his site by saying just ridiculous things. And things that maybe people want to hear. John Cena's returning, Rock's returning, Brock Lesnar's returning, right? So this could be clickbait. It could be a lot of really just traffic driving announcements with no substance behind them. It's certainly possible that Vince Russo just is doing this for attention. It's again, but I have nothing against the guy. I just have that feeling with certain things he's done in the past. So anyway, moving on. Let's get to Monday Night Raw, because that's where we're freaking here, right? Monday Night Raw. Boy, I will say, a much better show this time around. I think it was a really good way, as good of a way to get into, in the final Raw, to get into the Royal Rumble that they probably could have done, I think. That's not without its sins and errors and maybe a rant or two in the show. But overall, I was generally happy with the show. I thought it was concise enough that you knew where they were going, and that they, maybe trying to misdirect you to who could win at the Royal Rumble. They had a big announcement from Edge, which I have very conflicting feelings about, and I'll get to that. Randy Orton RKOing Alexa Bliss, and Goldberg and McIntyre facing off, and then just dispatching Miz and Morrison, who seemed to be on my television screen way, way too much, even in a wrestling capacity. And then Sheamus, of course, it feels like he was on my screen for like 40 minutes on Monday night. But at least it's wrestling. At least it's wrestling, which is what you watch a wrestling for anyway, right? Like, that's what you watch a wrestling show for, is wrestling. I don't know about you, but so what I want to talk about, though, first of all, which seems to be a habit with me, is the last thing that we saw, which was Randy Orton RKOing Alexa Bliss during the main event that featured Alexa Bliss versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, when they announced this, I was pissed. I was really pissed about this, because this is a potential WrestleMania main event. People may laugh. I'm not laughing. I think, and as of last week, my pick for the Women's Royal Rumble winner was Alexa Bliss. This may put a little bit of a damper on that, but we didn't get a clean finish. So before we get to the Randy Orton spot, I really didn't approve of them putting a Raw Women's Championship on the line on free TV with no explanation other than, oh, she just beat the champion last week. Why does that always automatically give you an opportunity? Nothing was explained, at least to my knowledge. How did she earn this opportunity? Was it stated last week that if she beat Asuka, she would earn the number one contendership for the Raw Women's Championship and then also have to, or be awarded that match the following week on Raw? The answer is no. The answer is a resounding no. I mean, it's really absurd that you get this lack of logic that we're all supposed to overlook. We're all supposed to overlook the fact that WWE creative just refuses. They simply refuse to fill in the plot holes of how do you get to A to B to C to D. Instead, they just go A to D. That's what they do. And look, I have no problem with Alexa Bliss getting a women's championship opportunity. In fact, I want her to win the Raw Women's Championship. I'm a proponent of that. But I don't want it in this method, through this fashion, through this creative process that they have laid before us. It makes no sense. And you may say, well, she beat the champion. So, in what world does that automatically make you the number one contender? Well, I mean, it doesn't. I guess just we're all supposed to fill in the gaps in our mind of, oh, okay, she beat the champion last week, so she's awarded an opportunity. And not only is she awarded an opportunity, but it's going to be next week. It just continues to fulfill the WWE corporate thought process that championship matches on free TV draw ratings. It just continues to... It's a self-fulfilling prophecy is what it feels like for WWE. They just feel that they need to have a championship match on every single Raw or SmackDown. I cannot recall the last Raw or SmackDown we didn't have a championship match, whether it be IC, United States, hell, WWE Championship. The only one, no. I was going to say the only one that wasn't defended on free TV was Universal, but Christmas Day, we got the unexplained WWE Universal Championship in a steel cage between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. So no championship has been, I guess, immune from this logic, this flawed logic of having a championship match on every single damn show. And some of you are probably out there like, why are you spending so much time on this? Just talk about Randy Orton. I'm going to talk about Randy Orton. But I also want to make it clear, is anybody out there? I'm being serious. I'm not being facetious or trying to set a trap for somebody. I really want to know, and I want you to call the show so you can leave a voicemail. Why, if you enjoy championship matches, do you enjoy seeing championship matches on every single Monday Night Raw or SmackDown? Do you want a championship match? Does that interest you more? Or maybe are you on the side of that makes it feel less valuable because every single show has one, right? I don't know. So please call the show. I'm begging somebody to call the show. And I really want to hear a serious reason why you believe that having championship matches on every single show, every one, it makes it more exciting for you. I'm being for real. Call us, 518-952-0247. So that'll be tomorrow. And you guys are pummeling me with emails and voicemails. So it's going to be quite a long mailbag tomorrow night. So, but beyond that silliness, and yeah, Alexa Bliss's Playground is getting more and more production. It seemed funding, just kind of injected into it every week. I mean, we got the little playground set, then we eventually got some fake grass, and then we got I don't know. Now we've got video boards up that show like she's in the middle of a park or something. I mean, it seems as if they're increasing the Alexa Bliss Playground budget every week, which is fine. I'm not ranting or complaining about it. It's fine. Alexa Bliss is doing a brilliant job. And they recap the last 2 weeks of what she's done, and she pretends to also, talk to the Fiend, who apparently is supposed to be in spirit next to her on the swing. I have no problem with that. She's doing, again, a brilliant job in her role. And she talks about what she did to Randy Orton, and that on tonight's match with Asuka, that she's not going to play nice, and she wants to inflict pain. So instead of heal or hurt, it's pain, I think, is what she has on her knuckles or whatever. So she's not going to play nice tonight with Alexa Bliss or with Asuka. And, of course, during the main event, we've got the Asuka who wasn't scared until Alexa made the transformation to the pre-Alexa Bliss, what's the word I'm looking for? Possessed Alexa Bliss, where she was in her original wrestling outfit, and she almost looked like she was freed, as the announcers put it. And I don't know if I'm reading into this a little too much, but perhaps that really was Alexa Bliss, of course we're talking kayfabe here, as if her spirit was trapped and let free for a moment, and that's the real Alexa Bliss that's inside these layers of darkness, trapped by the Fiend's power, right? I mean, I could be totally wrong, but that's what it felt like. That version of Alexa Bliss is still there, that innocent version, but it's being just completely suffocated by the Fiend's powers and darkness. And it was let out for just a moment. Just a thought. Just a thought. And if you remember from a month or two ago, when Alexa Bliss had, I might have been on her, not a Moment of Bliss, but Alexa's Playground, one of the first episodes, where she had a little doll in a cage, as if she's keeping the innocent part, the demon is keeping the innocent part of her trapped. Just a thought. Just a thought. But then she instantly turns into the dark version of herself. You know, Alexa, I don't know why I keep saying that. Asuka gets immediately frightened, as if she has truly seen a ghost, in the very cartoonish way that only Asuka can. And she tries to fight back, which is good. She doesn't just, wet her pants and leave. But she tries, ultimately, to get the mandible claw, which I thought was going to end it there. And if they had awarded her the women's championship there, I actually would have been a little bit angry too, because I care about how it happens. And then we get Randy Orton with a burn face, as good of a makeup burn face as you can have. And I mean that as a compliment. And I'm glad he didn't have that weird mask on from last week. It was just, it wasn't even creepy. It was just, it took the emotion out of it because you couldn't see anything, right? But okay. So he delivers the RKO. Justified. Randy Orton's, for some reason, seems to be the only one exempt from the men can never retaliate against women law in WWE. And you saw it this past week with the Sasha Banks match. And we had, who's Carmella's little minion there? I can't remember his name. I mean, he wasn't even able to get a single offensive move in there. And men are often subjected to slaps, kicks, even below the belt contact, and they can't retaliate. It's absurd. And I've been a huge non-proponent of that for a long time. Even in the PG era. Why does it make it okay for the women to beat on the men, but the men can't beat on the women in retaliation? It makes no sense. And I know there's people out there who are probably thinking, like I've said many times, you're advocating for women's violence, domestic violence. What kind of masculine pig are you? I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there thinking that. To which I would say, you realize you're watching a fantasy environment, right? Well, what if a kid is subjected to this? Young minds are very, very impressionable. Maybe they get the idea that they can do this, and well, maybe if you're so concerned about that, you should be concerned about. If you're worried about what your kids are watching, don't let them watch it, number one. Number two, maybe they should realize that this is fantasy. And you see it in movies all the time. But anyway, I'm going to go on a huge tangent on this crap because I don't understand it. But Randy Orton, praise the Lord, is immune to this just complete block of WWE ever allowing men to retaliate. And Randy Orton gets an RKO. I was satisfied by that, actually. It made me very satisfied. I don't think Randy Orton is playing the heel in this. In fact, I don't even know who's the heel in this. And I don't want to hear that, it's ambiguity. Who cares? It's just stars. It's just star power. No, it's good versus evil. It will always boil down to good versus evil, as it should. It's an old formula, but it works and it doesn't get tired. There's always good and there's always evil. And you always want to see the good prevail. But I don't know who's good in this scenario. You could make a case, and we could probably have a whole entire show for 2 hours dedicated to just this story of who's the heel and babyface. So I will just leave it to your minds to decide who you like and who you don't. I will just say I really enjoyed the RKO on Alexa Bliss. Not that I dislike Alexa Bliss, but it was warranted. It was nice to see retaliation. We saw Randy Orton RKO Beth Phoenix last year. Obviously Alexa Bliss last night. We saw Randy Orton RKO Nia Jax in a Royal Rumble, which still gives me just the biggest smile on my face. I mean, my dog could die tomorrow, but then I watch, Nia Jax get RKO'd, and I just go, you know what? It's going to be okay, man. I mean, that's how I feel with seeing Nia Jax get RKO'd. It made me so happy. But that was a few years ago. Anyway, back to this story. I think that this is going to bring back The Fiend in a big way. This is probably the last straw. Alexa Bliss seems to be somehow tied to The Fiend's emotions, if he has any, as we were teased that is his weakness, is Alexa Bliss. And Randy Orton putting his hands on Alexa is probably the last straw. I'm very interested to see how The Fiend returns in the Royal Rumble. You would assume he's in the Rumble, or maybe a distraction of the Rumble, or maybe an attack. I don't know. Somehow, some way, The Fiend will come out and attack Randy Orton at the Royal Rumble and probably cost him that match. And he should look different. He should not just visually look different, but his music should be a little bit different, being burned completely. You got to have something different, man. You got to. So, on a related note, though, I can't not talk about Randy Orton without not talking about Edge. So, number one, I didn't even know Edge was going to be a part of the show. It was not pre-advertised, which not everything does, but you would have thought that, hey, Edge is going to deliver a message. Let's promote the hell out of this over the next few days, week, and get some eyeballs on the product. Nope. They just popped it on Raw as kind of a casual, oh yeah, by the way, Edge is going to be delivering his first statement in 7 months after the triceps injury from the Greatest Wrestling match at Backlash. So, I will say this. Edge just knows how to cut a promo. He's just a freaking genius on the mic. And he's such a breath of fresh air from all the scripted, cute little promos and one-liners that everyone else seems to have. He is what a promo should be. If anybody wants to know what a professional wrestling promo should look like, hell, watch Edge. He is an absolute master with face. It's not just what he says, it's how he says it, the tempo he says it, the emotion, the genuine emotion that feels like it's in it. His eyes, my God, he's got he's like Luke Harper, Brody Lee, John Huber, however you want to refer to him. He's got that level of being able to tell you a story with just his eyes. He's brilliant. So he basically declares himself into the Royal Rumble. He talks about how 10 years ago I was World Heavyweight Champion, and then I went to bed, and a week later, that was taken from me, and I'm on a path to retribution of reclaiming what was mine, and I never lost. So he's going on I didn't lose the match, I had to give it up, but it's 10 years later. At WrestleMania 27, I think he said it was, against Alberto Del Rio, if I'm not mistaken, winning the World Heavyweight Championship, having to relinquish it, and now we're at WrestleMania 37, and it's a nice even 10. Now, I will say this. Lot to say here about Edge here. Edge is probably blessed that he hasn't had to deal with no fans for 7 months. There is no better time. Not that I want to see Edge injured, but if I was him, I would not be in any rush to get back, because that's 7 months less that I have to make a return where there are no fans in an arena to just draw that pure energy off of. If you have a return that magnitude of Edge with no fans, it just blows, right? It simply sucks. There's no other way to put it. You don't want to see it. You just don't. So Edge is probably not sad that he missed 7 months with no fans. Yes, the Thunderdome is there, and yes, WWE is planning on having WrestleMania with fans, probably at a 20 to 30,000 at the very most capacity in Raymond James Stadium. That holds 80 or so, and depends on the percentage. Of course, the percentage of capacity is what's going to drive this. And the Super Bowl will be a nice test case for WWE to see how it goes, what works, what doesn't, as Triple H said on the Michael Kay show last week. So Edge, again, cut a nice promo. I like where he does it. I like how it's in the corner of the ring with just like a single spotlight. It's a very nice ambiance that he has going. I only have a little bit of concern on this. Number one, he's not really talking about Randy Orton. He talked about how he was injured from Randy, but his focus wasn't on Randy. His focus was actually the championship, which I understand and I don't. The reason I do understand it is Randy Orton's currently in a program with The Fiend. It's not as if Randy Orton is floating out there in obscurity and he needs someone to really work with. and he is entrenched in a program with The Fiend, and I think it would muddy the waters if Edge got involved right now. So I understand that completely. You can't just jump back in if somebody's in a program that has not yet been wrapped up. So I get that. At the same time, Edge left swearing that he would be back as the Rated R Superstar, and you've brought something out of me, Randy, that I can't put back. I'm no longer Adam Copeland. I am going to come back as the Rated R Superstar. Go back and watch the promo from, what was it, June? When we had the greatest wrestling match ever. I put that in air quotes. So I also, like, he comes back. He isn't focusing on what he said he would focus on when he came back. So it's kind of a disappointment, but I also get it. I also understand that you can't just jump into this program with The Fiend and Randy Orton. That has to be wrapped up before you can get to Edge and Orton. So I'm a little bit conflicted. I'm disappointed, but I'm understanding. So it's just interesting that his focus of the promo wasn't Randy. It was retribution. It was his mother telling him to say, just go do it. Which, I mean, I'll be honest, kind of a weak thing for your parents to say. I mean, if that's what your parents told you, that's all you needed for motivation. I mean, I don't think that says anything about your parents. I think that says something about you in being able to just self-motivate. Because if someone just said to me, or I told somebody, hey, by the end of the year, I want to be able to bench press 500 pounds. And, my mom says to me, then just go do it. I'd be like, gee, thanks. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. You have any other words of wisdom besides the most obvious, non-attentive response that you could give me? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Does anybody get what I'm saying here? Like, you're telling me that's what motivated him? And you can dive deeper. Somebody's going to say, well, there's a lot of parents that aren't supportive of that. And, that it's not all parents are that easygoing or are that supportive for somebody to go into a profession that is often criticized. But you should support your kids going into whatever they want to do. I mean, it's just general good parenting. So again, when he said that, I'm like, oh, his mom probably had some great words of wisdom or something. No, she just said, just go do it, Adam. I'm like, that's lame, man. That is super lame. There's got to be some more to the story. I mean, come on, Adam, or Edge, however you want to be referred to. There has to be something better than that. It was just like, that's all she said. I'm waiting for like a zinger or something that I'm like, give me chills that she said, or he's like, nope, I just took that and that's what made me come, put the effort in to come back for the next, put the effort in over 9 years to get back what I never lost. And I'm thinking to myself, so not only did that, help you get to the WWE, those words, win the championship, injured, and then come back and put 9 years of effort in. Imagine if she actually gave you a motivated speech. My God, you'd be the owner of the WWE by now, Adam. Gee, it's just ridiculous. I laughed at it because I'm like, this is ridiculous. If that's how the conversation actually went, it's not a credit to his parents. It's a credit to Adam, who doesn't need any motivation. Clearly, you could just say the lamest thing ever, and he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go do it. Well, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go off the deep end here. I'm not ranting. It's ridiculous that's all she said. If it's true, come on. All right. But overall, I am a little bit surprised that Edge barely mentioned Randy Orton. He did kind of in passing, but I also understand he's entrenched in the storyline. So, okay, moving down the line. Matt Riddle earns a United States Championship opportunity against the big man of Lashley after he ran the gauntlet of MVP and Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, who Cedric and Shelton just cannot get along for whatever just lame reason that they can't get along, because we're all supposed to care, which I've ranted on this. I'm not going to rant on it again, but we're all supposed to care. I don't. I want to see them actually succeed and be a unit before any dissension happens. But I will say, MVP is still truly the MVP of that group. I mean, there's no question about it. And I liked how they also, prior to that, had their segment with, I don't know if it was like a lame version of the MVP Lounge or whatever it was, but the three men got together and gave MVP a necklace that was 24 karat gold that had THB, the Hurt Business. And I loved how R-Truth, God, I mean, this man is just born for comedy, but also a genuinely good guy from what I've seen on documentaries and things. And I really wish more could have happened for him in his career, but he's still getting regular airtime every week, so that's a positive. And we got R-Truth interrupting this, and he said that the necklace was made out of 24 carats. And he said, "Where are them 24 shiny carats at?" or something, like as if they're actual vegetables that are shiny. I mean, it was just and R-Truth delivers it so well. And he talks about how the necklace actually stood for Happy Birthday Truth or something like that. And it was hilarious before the single file crew who comes out and does roll-ups for the 24/7 championship, because it's the only way you can win a 24/7 championship, by the way. And it's the only way legally that it can change hands is by a roll-up, which is just, I don't even know what to say about the 24/7 title anymore. To say I'm over it would be the understatement of the year. So, okay, I'm going to move on from that nonsense. But Riddle does earn an opportunity, but then gets beat down by Lashley after he runs the gauntlet and earns an opportunity. So Lashley does get a little bit of heat on himself after the victory from Riddle, of which I will say I hope that Bobby Lashley retains that United States Championship. There should be no reason to take it off him right now. The Hurt Business are firing on all cylinders, minus the silly dissension that doesn't need to be there. It feels like they're just doing it, just to add another layer, but I think it's actually distracting and not needed and takes away from the Hurt Business. You want to feel like they're like an unbreakable, well-oiled machine. You don't want to see dissension this early. This is way too early to see any kind of dissension or tension within the group. The key is to build a group that feels unstoppable, unbreakable, and unpenetrable. How about that for a word? And then start to tease dissension. Not just tease dissension in the middle of them building that foundation. It's just ridiculous. Leave it alone. They're doing great. Okay. So, moving on to something else here. We got Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair backstage. Charlotte Flair interrupts, I guess it was like a hold lesson, a wrestling lesson from Rick to Lacey Evans. It reminded me of the Triple H and Trish back in the Attitude Era, of him teaching Trish some holds, and she happened to be bent over while he had her in a wrist lock, and Stephanie McMahon walks in and flips out. One of the most, iconic moments from that program anyway, during the Attitude Era. And it reminded me of that. And it was kind of like that, except not as provocative, I guess. So Charlotte just happens to walk in. She seems disgusted, but she doesn't flip out. But Ric Flair also kind of told her, like, "Oh, you think you're a big star now? I'm Ric Flair. I can do what I want." And I don't see the need for any of this. I don't see the need. This is taking away from Charlotte. At the beginning, you can see where these two might have a program, but there's no payoff here. There won't be a payoff because Rick can't get in a match. There's nothing that can happen. He can't even take a single bump, and I don't want him to take a single bump. He is too old, too high risk with everything that he's been through. There's just no need for this at all, and it's... maybe somebody else feels differently. I have nothing but respect for Ric Flair. None. He is certainly one of the best of all time. But at this point in his career, man, leave your daughter alone. Leave her alone. He just... okay, I've said my piece. All right, well, I haven't really talked about Drew McIntyre and Goldberg yet. And I do want to touch on that. It opened the show as McIntyre came back and talked about how everyone sent him well wishes and everything else. And, I don't know why anyone's sending him well wishes, considering he said he had no symptoms. So, I don't get well wishes for a no symptom virus. He said he lost his sense of smell. That's very common. It's just funny. He said, the last week, the 2 weeks ago when he first got diagnosed, he said, Yeah, I luckily I have no symptoms. And then he comes on this week and says everyone's, I appreciate all the well wishes. I'm like, the guy said he had no symptoms, so basically he feels healthy. It's people are still, I hope you get well soon. All right. Well, anyway, virus can be a very, very testy subject for people, so I'm going to move on from that. But he talks about Goldberg and his match at the Royal Rumble, and says that he's not going to take Goldberg lightly. That's smart on the babyface's part, and that he knows what Goldberg is. He knows how intense he can be, and his 173-0 streak that took place in WCW. He's aware of all that. He shows you that he's done his homework. He shows you that he's not going to be underestimating Bill Goldberg. That's a smart move, of course. And so we'll have to see where things land. But The Miz immediately comes out. And, God, I mean, it's like Stephanie McMahon's music hitting back in the, the Authority era. I mean, it was just, it gives me just you talk about taking the air out of the room. The Miz's music just takes the air out of the room. If I hear him say the word correct one more time, again, I'm not going to repeat myself on this. I will just say channel changing heat, not real heel heat. And if you want to debate me on what the difference is and why they're actually different and one's good and one's bad, I will be glad to have you on the show. Seriously. Because I've really wasted so much breath explaining this where people think it's the same thing. You really hate them, so that's what they're doing their job. No. Not when you want to not watch the product. Okay. So we got them coming out doing their just secondhand embarrassing crap that they do with whoever they think they're entertaining in the back, Vince or Kevin Dunn. I have no idea. But they come out and they're, I guess, supposed to be obnoxious to draw heat, and then Goldberg comes back out. Or he comes out and he goes face to face with McIntyre, and Miz and Morrison egg them on, trying to get them to fight. They're on the apron, and then Miz and Morrison get dragged into the ring tossed into the ring by both Bill Goldberg and Drew McIntyre. They hit their respective finishers. Morrison takes the Claymore, Miz takes the Spear, which actually made me a little bit happy to see. I guess when you put two devils together, I guess I'm going to go with Goldberg beating on Miz if you had to make me choose. I mean, I don't like either, but it's hard. But they get their finishers hit, and then they stare down as McIntyre holds up the championship in front of Goldberg's face, and that's the end of that. So there really isn't much to say about it. It was just Bill Goldberg telling McIntyre he's next. Okay, Bill, we've heard this many, many times. Thanks for your A+ promo, and you can go back to your cubby and come out at Rumble, and God help me if he wins. Oh boy. I still feel like he will, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay. That's really all that was in terms of there. But then we got a match between Sheamus and Morrison. And, this match was good. I have no problem with them in the ring. I don't have, again, as much as I despise Morrison's character, he's good in the ring. Really good. It was a long match. Good match, entertaining, physical, no problems, no complaints, no rants here. And actually what I liked was Sheamus hit white noise and it finished the match. Could they be redefining the finish for Sheamus or adding another finish? I like it. And I think white noise is fairly deserving of it. It has never, ever, to my knowledge, ended a match before, and I'm glad to see that it did here. I think it's fine. It adds a little bit more depth to Sheamus's finish maneuvers. So I had no problem with that. And then Miz challenges Sheamus to a handicap match, and Sheamus accepts, but Sheamus gets the pinfall or loses the match after Miz hits the skull-crushing finale. He comes up just a little bit short. He did hit the bro kick on Morrison, but the Miz hit the skull-crushing finale and got the victory. So really, I don't know what to make of this other than the goals were to put a little bit more heat on the Miz because he won the match and he was the loudmouth and only runs his mouth when it's 2-on-1. Just typical heel stuff. And then you get Sheamus, who apparently is full-on babyface, just taking on all comers and not, getting a yellow stripe down his back and, hightailing it out of there. He accepted a 2-on-1 handicap match after a hard-fought 1-on-1 match. So apparently that's supposed to be admirable, and he'll fight anybody. That's very Vince McMahon babyface-ish. So I guess Sheamus is a defined babyface right now. Be careful. I still don't trust him. Okay, Shayna Baszler. Charlotte Flair defeated Shayna Baszler via disqualification after interference by Nia Jax, and Jax basically dropped a leg on Charlotte after she got Shayna into the figure 4. That brought out Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke to make the save before Lacey Evans ran in as well, and then that just ended. Just ended. I mean, there was no ending, or how this ended, who got the last laugh. It just faded to black. I mean, the screen faded to black, and we didn't get an explanation. It was weird. Okay. Let's see. Xavier Woods defeated Slapjack. That was not on the Hulu version. Okay. So Ali announced he would be in the Rumble. That's what I got out of that. Moving on here. AJ Styles defeated R-Truth via submission, as he should. I don't know what to say about this. I'm sorry. I just don't. AJ Styles should win. I mean, he just should. AJ Styles, I think, is a dark horse to win the match on Sunday. And I mean that in a small chance way. I don't think... I would say he's a long shot, but he's not impossible. So AJ Styles is on the in my list of contenders. I still have not made an official decision on my Royal Rumble winner for the men and women, but he's on the list. He's in my brain. I will say that. But one last thing I'll say about Alexa Bliss and her transformations. I want to see WWE do this in front of a live audience. I want to see them pull their magic tricks with Alexa Bliss in front of the live audience. Boy, see, this is the production stuff that they can do with no fans there. Just have her change outfits on the blink of a dime, or on the blink of an eye, or on a dime. I combine those two euphemisms. And I'd love to see how they do and pull that off. It's cool, but I'm thinking to myself, how does that translate into a live audience? The answer is it doesn't. The answer is she comes out, picks one outfit, and sticks with it the whole match. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's no other way. So I think I'm trying to make sure I covered everything, guys. I feel like there's stuff I missed. If I did, I apologize. But that is my Raw review. Overall, guys, I did like it. I'd give it a B- if I was going to grade it and give it a report card. I think it did its job heading into the Royal Rumble. I'm glad that they limited Goldberg and McIntyre, and hopefully we just get past this. And best case scenario is McIntyre just goes into or beats Goldberg, and Goldberg goes back into just obscurity and just goes back into his little cave or wherever he sits and just moves on with his life. I mean, that's the best case scenario, but we all know that's not true. We all know that's not what's going to happen. We all know that Goldberg is here through WrestleMania. So we better strap in, folks, because Goldberg's here for the next few months. And for better or worse, and maybe you love him. And if you do, great. Really, I mean it. If you do, that's awesome. I just don't think that there's, from a 35-year-old man's perspective of watching wrestling since 1997, the nostalgia is no longer there for that. So, alrighty. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Raw review. Tomorrow, again, we have the NXT. We have a dual show, 2 shows tomorrow. I shouldn't say dual show. It's not the same one. It's 2 different shows of the nostalgia and, of course, the mailbag. But Thursdays, Zach Smith, who'll be doing the NXT review. And we have a new intro coming, so the show will sound a little bit different soon. I wanted to change things up in the next day or two. We should have a new intro to the regular shows. The Nostalgia show, I've decided to keep that intro the same, but for all the Raw and SmackDown and Weekend Review shows, those will be a brand new jingle coming in the coming weeks. I decided to kind of freshen things up, put a new coat of paint on the show, just as I did with my logo last year and invested a little bit of money in that. Same thing here. I think it's good to keep things fresh. Maybe I'll start adding sound effects and stuff too. It's a matter of production and time. It's always time, right? You never have time to do stuff. But alrighty, guys. Well, thanks as always for helping out the show. If you want to support us, head on over to the WWE Podcast website. Click on the Amazon banner that's right in the middle of the page, and do your Amazon shopping. It just gives a little bit back to us. Or you can give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That's also a really, really good way to support the show. Probably one of the best ways. It doesn't take much time at all. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. And yes, I do have a potential big interview coming next week, but more on that in the coming days and weeks. Or days, because I said it's next week. Jeez. Okay. I'm tired. I'm heading out, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, I'll talk to you next time.